Hi guys. It's been a while. I know. I feel like I always say that. But one of these days maybe I'll get more consistent. In the meantime, not. So, hi. I'm not trying to make excuses for myself, but I will say that I've got a couple of things in mind, and I'm going to start with one that's going to sound sort of like an excuse at first. So I lost my surfboard. For those of you that know me well, you probably are wondering, wait, Catherine, when did you learn to surf? And I haven't actually learned to surf. I've only learned to surf most of the time, the waves of life, right? And I think I'm pretty good generally at doing that. But I do want to say that as practiced as I am, the fact that I teach other people to do it, doesn't mean that I don't occasionally lose my surfboard and forget that I could body surf or float or anything else. And I get caught up in the waves. And some of those waves were waves of things that were really happening. There's been a lot going on. It's been a very hectic couple of months with a lot of stuff. And including, things that are good in the long run, but that are maybe chaotic at the moment, right? Which can be a lot of things. So for instance, in my life, I've had people working downstairs, making a lot of noise, doing things like of that sort. And that has meant that my whole routine has been thrown off in terms of meditation, in terms of space. There's banging and sawing and music and people talking loud and stuff happening in my space that I can't control. And that's thrown me off and made things a little bit feel chaotic for me, even though in the long run they're good, but in the moment they're chaotic and maybe a little bit off-putting or distressing in one way or another. And some of that has been, I adopted another dog. Again, good thing, but a little chaos. Working on the place downstairs. Vivian's back home for a while. Lots of things that are, again, good, but they are a change to my routine. They mean things are different. They mean that this routine that I built, which, by the way, is kind of my surfboard, that has gotten thrown, right? So I lost my surfboard, and then I let it get wrecked in the waves, and then I forgot that I knew how to swim and tread water, and I kind of feel like I lost, not myself, but I lost that grounded feeling that I normally have, that I can like pretty much deal with anything. And I get sad and I cry and I get mad, and I'm not saying that, but I don't stay stuck in those feelings. I don't have trouble finding the joy. I had trouble finding my joy. I was aware of this, and I was thinking, all right, well, this has got to be a lesson, because you've declared it the year of joy, and you're talking to people about this, but now you've lost your ability to find the joy. What do you do with that? You be honest about it, because maybe that's helpful, right? That even in a self-declared year of joy, we can still have some moments, and we can still forget that we want to find the joy, or even if we know we want to find the joy, we may have trouble finding it. And there's a couple of things in there, and I'll get to some other things in other addresses, but for now, I want to talk about the surfboard, because I feel like a lot of people's lives are chaotic right now. I feel like it feels completely overwhelming in a lot of ways, and I'm not. And this is certainly like talking to my clients, talking to other therapists. It feels like there's just a lot going on. And there's always a lot going on, but it feels like more right now for whatever reason. And that's when having a surfboard is really important, when the waves, and really knowing how to use your surfboard, and knowing that you're going to go up and you're going to go down, but it's going to be okay. And that you may not feel joy for a little while, but that's okay. That's not going to be forever either, right? No wave lasts forever. The wave crashes on the shore and it's gone, right? And then the undertow comes back out, and the winds and the currents create more waves that come back out again. That's always going to be the case. So how do you navigate that? How do you do that? How do you not end up being a fish gasping for air on the shore or drowning in the ocean, right? What do? you make sure your surfboard works, right? And that can be any number of things. Are you taking care of yourself physically? Are you eating right? You know, I probably wasn't doing that as much as I could have been for a while. So I started dialing down on that. You know, are you sleeping enough? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you going to bed at the same time? Do you have a routine? Are you watching too much news? Are you doing too much? For me, this is, you know, maybe not everybody, but there are people who enjoy watching the news and don't get stressed out about it. That's not me. So, you know, was I engaging too much in social media? Which the answer was probably yes. As a distraction, right? I have been unable to walk as much. One, because I've got the second dog who doesn't walk as well as Ollie, and it's been super scary hot, you know, for the last couple of weeks. So that's thrown me off, because part of my meditational practice is normally to walk and do mantras or listen to music or whatever, and I haven't been able to do that as much. I haven't had my exercise. I've been having to change my exercise routine, both because I fell and hurt myself, and then also because it's hot, right? And so I'm trying to find other things to do. Losing all of those like pieces, right? That's like stuff physically, metaphysically, you know, spiritually, emotionally, in a grounded way, like all that stuff. I really let my surfboard go. I lost it. It was gone. It just did. It wasn't there. There was no piece. There was no piece of. I let it all go. Right. Bang! So, what do? You put your surfboard back together and you figure it out, because you know what? I apparently needed a new surfboard, and that's okay, right? So now I'm busily building my new surfboard. I'm doing a different meditational practice. I've now decided I need to do a seated meditational practice every day without the dogs around, in a specific room where nobody else is going to be coming. Nobody's going to be coming into the kitchen, because for a while I was trying to meditate in the den. Well, that's a little bit too public, too many people, dogs whirling around. Trying to meditate in another part of the house, dogs whirling around. None of it felt right. And some of that is like being in this house, which I've only been here for a year, and I'm still trying to figure that out. And I was for a while meditating on my porch, which was fabulous, but now it's too freaking hot. So, and also I have workers coming in and out, so I'm at a very early hour, so I have to be up like really early to do that. So what am I doing? I'm actually meditating now in my office. That's a new thing that I've just started, and it's already making a difference. So I'm going back to a dedicated seated meditation that includes a couple of stretching and yoga moves. Been a long time since I've done that. So that is part of it. Going back to seated meditation because I'm not doing a moving meditation right now. Changing up my exercise routine, putting in a little bit more strength training, trying something completely new thanks to a good friend who's introduced me to the Mega Reformer. I've never even done Pilates, never did the real Reformer, so I don't even know what the difference is, but it's a new thing to try. So that is what I have to say to you. If you're feeling like there's a lot of chaos, if you're feeling very ungrounded, check your surfboard. Do you have it? Are you hanging on to it? Maybe it's a bit bent and dented, and maybe it's a bit old. Maybe it's time to let it go and build a new surfboard, change it, or at least polish up the one you've got and make sure that it's running right, that it's running on good food, and it's running on good sleep, and it's running on good connection to others and to whatever else might be out there, and that your energy is up. And that's what I have for you today. So, love you all, and I hope to see you soon, but I'm not making any promises. Mwah.